swap the tips over. Now I did this in a previous video and I did mention that I would be buying some cheap tips. Now when I say cheap, I've paid £10 for 4 of these. So these are basically replacement tips, nozzles for an airless sprayer, and you'll immediately notice that the packaging looks very similar to Graco. They're not Graco though. This has got nothing to do with Graco. Their tips are a lot more expensive, and you will appreciate that they're not the same quality. So we're not advertising anybody's makes here. So what we've got here is a 415 tip, and we've got 2 of those and a 517 tip. Now obviously what we need to do is get the gun dismantled again, and then I will explain to you what the numbers mean on the tips and whether they're suitable or not for what you're wanting to do. There's only me in my business, so I keep referring it to we, but yeah, there's only me. I tend to do a lot of domestic decorating, and I don't do anything like commercial based. People get me in the houses to paint the living rooms and thing, and I do a really good job, and obviously they ask me back to do things, but I am looking at like working a lot smarter with it and going with the flow of technology now, where everything seems to be going towards spraying now. So this is why we're doing this now. I have had some experience with sprays before, but mainly the compressor and gun type sprays. So I've done like cellulose spraying, maybe sprayed a few doors and furniture, etc. But the principle of spraying is still the same. I did notice when I was using this airless spray that the spray was delivered a lot quicker, so you have to move a lot quicker with it. Otherwise you pull up the spray and you end up with like an orange peel effect on the pattern, and what we want is a nice smooth finish. So this is what we're aiming for with different nozzles and tips that you can buy for these airless spray. They're really easy to change. We're going to see if these fit nicely in the gun now, and like I said, I will explain what the numbers are for. So now I've tilted the camera down, you can see I have a spray tip ready and the seal there. This is basically what holds the spray in there. I mentioned this in the previous video. Basically sits inside the gun like that, and this plastic bit there seals that to the spray tip there. So what we're going to do is do the same thing as we did in the previous video and start dismantling the front end of the gun. So this is now hand tight. I've loosened it with my spanner. Now if you can do these hand tight, if you can, but I think I mentioned this in the previous video, it did leak when I was using it, so I had to nip it up, and I would suggest you do that if you have to, because you don't want paint running down all the time out of your gun, because it affects the pressure. So once you've done that, you can remove your tip. So this again is the 517 tip that came with the gun, and obviously there's the seal. So all we need to do is find your hole there, and I use the bradawl to help line it up. Make sure it's more or less in the same area, and then get a bit of a wiggle, and there you go. Hold it with my finger, and it should be right. It seems to be sitting okay. I can see the hole, and then reattach it to the gun. Really need 2 hands for this job. I wouldn't have been able to do this holding the camera, it's too difficult. So we're going to do this hand tight because we're not doing any spraying today. We're just showing you how to replace the tip. So once it's in, there we go, and it's in. So once again, quickly, the arrow is pointing that way, that's for spraying, and when you turn it around, that's for cleaning. Mentioned that in the other video, so we'll just do it quick review of what to do. So move the tools out of the way. Like I said, this is a 415 tip, and we have 2 of those, and we also have 2 517 tips. So what came out again is the 517, and we're not referring to the time there, we are referring to the numbers on the tips, which explain what the differences are in spray patterns and everything. So it's not some sort of code, it is actually a precise measurement of the hole. So if you look at the number 517 on this one, you need to separate it like that, so you have a 5 and a 17. So the 17 is the size of the orifice in the spray tip, so the bigger the number, the bigger the hole, basically. So if you've got, say that's a 17 there, and you have, say, a 15 that's already in, the hole will be slightly smaller, and so on. Or if the number's bigger, it will get bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger, like so. Slight exaggeration, but you get the idea, don't you? The 5 is the fan of the spray. So when the paint is coming out of the gun, this is the width of the spray. So that's not 5 centimeters, that's not 5 millimeters, that is 5 inches, but it's 5 inches times 2, so that is 10 inches. Now that is based on a distance of 12 inches away from the gun to the wall. So say this is the wall here, and that's the gun. You would be spraying around 12 inches away from the wall, or thereabouts. Depending on what you're spraying, of course, you know, this is where your practice comes in, will determine on how far you are away from the wall. And of course your thickness of your paint and your air pressures. Once you've dialed your equipment in and got it all set up correctly, you'll know what's happening with the finish of the paint. But the hole sizes are very important to get you started. So like I said, if you have a 5 at the front, that would be a 10-inch span. Now we have a 4 in front, so it's a 415. So that's 4 times 2, which is 8. And you never knew this was going to be a maths lesson today, did you? So again, 12 inches away from the wall, and we're now spraying an 8-inch fan. So if I mark that like that to the guard points, you've got the idea. This is your spray pattern based on a 12-inch gap, and there you go. Now if that was the 5, so that would be times 2 again, that would be a 10-inch width. So you would be looking at something like this. Now I would say that the spray pattern is more like that. It does come out kind of in an odd, it doesn't come out in a precise straight line, it does come out like that. But you get the idea, don't you? And if you're going to complain about my drawing now, then I would suggest you pay for my art lessons, because that's as good as it's going to get in this video. So, but it does explain roughly how the spray tips work. Obviously the numbers change, you can get different sizes of nozzles, they do come in different colours. You immediately notice that this one is red, the one that's in it is blue. Now I got 4 of these off Amazon for £10, so £2.50 each. You're going to say, what did you buy them for? Because I want to know if they work, that's why. I think they will, I think they'll do the job. But yeah, for a tenner, we're going to give them a go. I'll do another video once we've used them on what we're doing next. If they're no good, I will upgrade them to better ones. Make no mistake, I'm not going to, if I'm not happy with them, then we won't be using them. But I've not lost a lot of money. £10 for some spray tips, so we can have a practice run out with this gun with these spray tips. We have discovered they do fit in the gun at least. So yeah, there they are. You can get them in different colours as well. I mean, they had yellow and green. Weirdly enough, I think they did them in white as well. So depending on what you was using, if you had quite a few different spray tips, then you could colour code them to what you wanted to do. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed that little bit of a demonstration. So guys, there we go. We've fitted the spray tip to the gun, and like I said, we're going to do another video once we get this out there on the job and using it. Like I said, I'm not going to do a big area. I'm just going to see how it goes. If it's total crap, then that's it. They will be binned basically, and we'll buy some decent tips, because obviously we want the customer to be happy with the job. So we'll get this out there and give it a good test and see where we go from there. So I hope you got something out of this video today, and don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel. It's much appreciated for those who are doing it and supporting the channel at the moment. Every penny counts at the moment, as I'm sure you're aware. I know it's a bit annoying having adverts on YouTube, but you know, that's how we make a little bit of money out of it. We're never going to retire on it, never going to make a living out of it, I don't think. But you know, every penny counts, and we hopefully get more equipment and stuff like that to review. So yeah, hope you enjoyed the video, hope you got something out of it, and thanks for watching.